What's up everybody, it's Graham Stephan, and let's be honest, most people think getting rich is all about luck, right? Like winning the lottery or inheriting a fortune from a long-lost relative. But here's the thing, that's not the reality for most wealthy people. The truth is, building wealth, achieving financial freedom, it all comes down to a different set of rules. Rules that most of the world either completely ignores or simply never learned in the first place. And that's what we're diving into today. In this video, we're going to uncover 10 of these unspoken rules that the wealthy live by, and how you can implement them in your own life. Each rule is backed by a real-world example, a story that'll make you rethink your relationship with money. So if you're ready to stop wishing for wealth and start building it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. Let's talk about Marcus. Marcus gets a $10,000 tax refund. He's stoked. He's been eyeing this sweet Mustang, you know, the one with the racing stripes and the rumbling exhaust. He walks into the dealership, throws down that refund as a down payment, and drives off feeling like $1 million bucks. Literally. He's got the new car smell, the envious looks from his friends, the whole 9 yards. But here's the catch. That feeling fades. Fast. A few months down the line, the new car smell is gone, the excitement wears off, and he's stuck with a 5-year car loan he can barely afford. Now, let's talk about Nate. Nate also got a $10,000 tax refund. But Nate, he thinks differently. Instead of buying a depreciating asset that loses value the second you drive it off the lot, he invests his money. He buys a couple of vending machines, stocks them full of snacks and drinks, and strategically places them in high-traffic areas on his college campus. Fast forward 2 years, Marcus is still making those car payments, watching his hard-earned cash disappear every month. Nate, on the other hand, is laughing. He's now earning a consistent $1,200 a month in passive income from his 6 vending machines. He reinvests some of that income to buy more machines, and his business just keeps growing. See, the poor mindset buys symbols of wealth, fancy cars, designer clothes, the latest gadgets. They want to look rich, even if it means staying broke. The wealthy, they think differently. They buy assets, things that put money in their pocket, not drain it. They invest in businesses, real estate, stocks, things that generate passive income and build long-term wealth. They understand that true wealth isn't about looking the part, it's about building systems that work for them, even while they sleep. Remember, you don't get rich by spending money, you get rich by making your money work for you. Let's talk about Carmen. Carmen was determined to stop renting and become a homeowner. She worked 2 jobs, sometimes pulling double shifts, just to scrape together a $20,000 down payment. But here's where Carmen did something brilliant. She didn't buy a single-family home like everyone else. She found a duplex, a property with 2 separate units, and used her entire savings as a down payment. Carmen moved into one unit and rented out the other. And guess what? The rent she collected from her tenant covered her entire mortgage payment. Now, Carmen lives rent-free, building equity in her property every single month, all because she understood the power of leverage. See, the wealthy don't just work harder, they work smarter. They understand that leverage is the key to multiplying their efforts and achieving financial freedom faster. Leverage can come in many forms, like using other people's money, like Carmen did with her mortgage, or using technology and systems to automate and scale your income. The point is, the wealthy are masters at leveraging resources to work for them, instead of constantly trading their time for money. They understand that time is their most valuable asset, and they use leverage to free up their time and focus on building wealth in a more efficient and effective way. So, ask yourself, how can you use leverage in your own life to reach your financial goals faster? Let's talk about Daryl. Daryl works hard, he really does. Every 2 weeks when that paycheck hits, he's excited. He's gonna pay his rent, his car payment, maybe grab some takeout, you know, the necessities. But then there are those unexpected expenses that always seem to pop up, right? A birthday dinner, a car repair, maybe his phone screen cracks, and suddenly Daryl's left with, well, not a whole lot. He tells himself, next paycheck, I'll start saving. But the cycle just repeats itself. Sound familiar? It's the classic trap of living paycheck to paycheck. You're constantly playing catch-up, never getting ahead. This is what I call the leftover mentality. What the wealthy understand is that wealth doesn't come from leftovers. It comes from making your financial future a non-negotiable priority. You don't wait until the end of the month to see what's left. You decide from the start how much you're going to invest in yourself and your future. Now let's meet Lena, Daryl's sister. Lena's not making more money than Daryl, but she's got a different mindset. She's automated her finances. And the first thing that happens every payday is that 10% of her income goes straight into her investment account. No matter what. She doesn't even see it, doesn't have to think about it. It's like paying yourself rent, except the landlord is your future self. Now, I know what you're thinking, Graham. I can barely afford rent as it is. How am I supposed to invest 10%? And that's fair. Maybe you start with 5%, maybe even just 1%. The point is, you start somewhere, and you make it automatic. Over time, you can increase that amount. You'd be surprised how quickly it adds up. After 3 years of consistently investing, Lena's got over $12,000 saved up, and that's not even including the growth from her investments. That's the power of paying yourself first and letting compound interest work its magic. Let's talk about Ryan. Ryan's one of those guys who's always waiting for the perfect moment to invest. He's constantly reading articles, watching the news, trying to time the market perfectly. He's convinced that if he just waits for the market to crash, he can swoop in and buy low, then sell high when the time is right. But here's the thing about timing the market. It's incredibly difficult even for professionals. The market is unpredictable. It's like trying to catch a falling knife. You might get lucky once or twice, but in the long run, it's a losing game. Plus, while Ryan's busy trying to predict the future, he's missing out on valuable time in the market. Now let's meet Emily. Emily's not a financial expert, but she understands a simple but powerful concept. Time in the market beats timing the market. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, she started investing consistently every single month, no matter what the market was doing. She's using a strategy called dollar cost averaging. Basically, she invests a fixed amount of money at regular intervals, regardless of the price. This means that when the market is down, she's buying more shares at a lower price, and when the market is up, she's buying fewer shares at a higher price. It all averages out in the long run, and it takes the emotion out of investing. After 5 years of consistent investing, Emily has over $9,000 invested, and that's not even including the growth from her investments. Remember, the best time to start investing was yesterday. The second best time is now. Don't be like Ryan, paralyzed by indecision, waiting for the perfect moment that may never come. Let's talk about Jason. Now, Jason's a huge fan of personal finance content. He subscribes to every finance YouTuber, follows all the gurus on Twitter. He's even bought every ebook under the sun. He's constantly consuming information, soaking it all up like a sponge. He can quote Warren Buffett in his sleep and knows the PE ratio of every company in the S&P 500. But here's the thing. Jason's not actually doing anything with all this knowledge. He's stuck in a perpetual cycle of information overload. He's consuming, but he's not creating. And in the world of wealth building, knowledge without action is like a car without an engine. You can have all the potential in the world, but without action, you're not going anywhere. Now let's meet Maya. Maya's also interested in personal finance, but she understands that true wealth comes from creating value, not just consuming it. She took what she learned from those YouTube videos and ebooks and decided to put it into practice. She used free tools like Canva and ChatGPT to create her own digital products, budget planners, expense trackers, you name it, and started selling them on Etsy. It didn't take long for her to start generating passive income. Within 6 months, she was making an extra $600 a month, all while working her full-time job. The beauty of the digital age is that the barriers to entry for creating and selling your own products have never been lower. You don't need a fancy degree or a ton of capital to get started. You just need a little creativity, a willingness to learn, and the drive to take action. Remember, the wealthy consume information to learn. Then they create to earn. Look, I get it. Studying personal finance isn't exactly as thrilling as, say, watching a Formula One race in Monaco. But here's the thing. You don't need to be a Wall Street whiz to manage your money well. Tom, for example, never bothered to learn about the basics. Things like credit utilization or the power of compound interest. He thought swiping a credit card was the same as using Monopoly money. Maxed those cards out, ignored the minimum payments, and racked up some serious debt. Now let's compare that to Selena. She dedicated just a few hours a week to taking a free online personal finance course. Learned about building credit, budgeting, the whole 9 yards. In just 18 months, Selena took her credit score from mediocre to a perfect 800. She refinanced her car loan at a crazy low interest rate, saving herself a whopping $3,200 in the process. That's the power of knowledge, people. Remember guys, knowledge is power. And in the world of finance, that power translates directly to more money in your pocket. You wouldn't show up to a job interview without prepping beforehand, right? Treat your financial future the same way. There are tons of free resources available. YouTube channels, like this one, podcasts, blogs, even your local library probably has a whole section dedicated to personal finance. The key is to find what works for you and stick with it. Even dedicating just 30 minutes a day to learning can make a huge difference over time. So, stop making excuses and start investing in your financial education. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Alright, let's talk about a mistake I see people making all the time, equating a high income with actual wealth. You see it everywhere, right? People flashing designer clothes, driving fancy cars, living in expensive apartments they can barely afford. Take Alan, for example. He was making a cool $150,000 a year as a software engineer. On paper, he was living the dream. But here's the catch. Alan had fallen into the trap of lifestyle inflation. Every raise meant a bigger apartment, a nicer car, more lavish vacations. Meanwhile, Maria, who ran a mobile notary business, was bringing in a more modest $60,000 a year. She lived a comfortable but not extravagant lifestyle. Guess what? After factoring in debt and expenses, Alan's net worth was a measly $5,000. Maria, on the other hand, had a solid $42,000 in savings and investments, completely debt-free. Here's the brutal truth. Income is what you earn, but net worth is what you keep. It's the difference between your assets, what you own, and your liabilities, what you owe. Think of it like this. Alan was playing a high-stakes game of keep up with the Joneses, while Maria was focused on building a solid financial foundation. One unexpected life event, a job loss, a medical emergency, and Alan's house of cards could come crashing down. That's why it's crucial to track your net worth regularly. There are plenty of free apps and websites that make it super easy. Knowing your net worth gives you a clear picture of your financial health and allows you to make informed decisions about your money. Let's face it, relying on a single source of income is like building your dream house on a foundation of sand. It might seem stable at first, but one good storm and it's all over. Mike, unfortunately, learned this the hard way. He'd spent years climbing the corporate ladder, pouring all his energy into his job. Then, bam! The company downsized, and Mike found himself out of a job with nothing but a measly severance package. Now let's compare that to Jasmine. She understood the importance of diversifying her income streams. Jasmine had built a successful YouTube channel, created and sold online courses, invested in dividend-paying stocks, and even had a few affiliate marketing partnerships going. When Jasmine decided to leave her 9-to-5 to focus on her own ventures, she didn't skip a beat. Why? Because she had multiple streams of income to fall back on. Even if one stream dipped, the others provided a safety net. This is what I mean when I talk about building wealth, people. It's not just about earning a lot of money, it's about creating a system that generates income from multiple sources. Think about it like this. Instead of relying on one giant paycheck, you're creating a diversified portfolio of income-generating assets. This could be anything from rental properties and side hustles to online businesses and investments. The key is to start small and gradually build up your streams over time. Remember, the goal is to create financial security and freedom, and multiple income streams are the key. Alright, let's talk about a concept that separates the truly wealthy from everyone else. Delayed gratification. You see it all the time. Someone gets a bonus, a raise, or even a tax refund, and boom, it's gone. New phone, fancy dinner, you name it. That's Ben, our guy in this scenario. Every time a little extra cash came in, he treated himself, upgraded his lifestyle, felt good in the moment, but 10 years later, still stuck in the same cycle, hoping for that next raise. Now let's look at Taylor. Same raises, same bonuses, but a completely different mindset. She knew that instant gratification might feel good now, but it wouldn't get her closer to her financial goals. So she took every extra dollar and put it to work. Invested in her Roth IRA, bought index funds, stuff that most people ignore because they want the immediate reward. Fast forward 10 years and guess what? Taylor's sitting on a $150,000 investment portfolio. That's the power of playing the long game. You know, there's a famous study called the marshmallow experiment. They put a marshmallow in front of a kid and said, "You can eat this now or wait 15 minutes and get two." The kids who waited, who delayed their gratification, they ended up doing better in life. Better grades, better jobs, you name it. It's a simple concept with profound implications. The wealthy understand this. They're willing to sacrifice now to win later. They drive the used Toyota instead of the new BMW, knowing that the money they save can be invested and grow exponentially. It's not about depriving yourself, it's about strategic allocation. It's about understanding that the real reward isn't the instant hit of dopamine. It's the financial freedom and security that comes from years of disciplined, long-term thinking. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is wealth. It takes time, patience, and a willingness to delay gratification. So ask yourself, are you thinking short-term or long-term? Your answer might just determine your financial future. Let's talk about something that's rarely discussed, but absolutely crucial when it comes to building wealth: your mindset. You see, most people unknowingly sabotage themselves with negativity. They scroll through TikTok for hours, absorbing drama and negativity. They watch the news, constantly bombarded with fear and uncertainty. They surround themselves with people who complain, gossip, and bring them down. It's like they're actively trying to poison their own minds. And this constant negativity, it seeps into everything. It affects their decision-making, their motivation, their ability to take risks and seize opportunities. It's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. This was Eli. He was stuck in the negativity trap. Doom scrolling, negative news, and a constant stream of negativity from his social circle. It was exhausting him, holding him back from reaching his full potential. But here's the thing. Successful people, wealthy people, they understand the power of protecting their mindset. They know that their mind is their most valuable asset, and they treat it as such. They set boundaries. They limit their exposure to negativity. They curate their social media feeds, following accounts that inspire and motivate them. They make time for activities that nourish their minds and souls: reading, meditation, spending time in nature. This was Neve. She was tired of feeling drained and defeated, so she did something about it. She implemented a 30-minute daily reading habit, started journaling weekly, and turned off all notifications. She replaced the noise and negativity with positive inputs, with knowledge, with self-reflection. And the results? In just 1 year, she launched her own side hustle, hit her first $10,000 month, and completely transformed her life. Remember, your mindset is your operating system. If you're constantly feeding it garbage, it's going to crash. But if you upgrade your inputs, if you protect your mental space, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. And there you have it, folks. 10 rules the wealthy follow that the poor don't. We talked about buying assets, not liabilities. We discussed the power of leverage, paying yourself first, and understanding that time is your greatest ally. We explored the importance of creating, not just consuming, and the need to constantly study and learn about money. We talked about tracking your net worth, building multiple streams of income, thinking long-term, and most importantly, protecting your mindset. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these rules hit you the hardest? Which one are you going to implement in your own life starting today? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. This is Monolithic Money, where wealth isn't a mystery, it's a method. Until next time, take care and stay informed.